Welcome to the Methodist Dallas Medical Center. I'm Stephen Scott, the Energy Solutions Manager for North America for Armstrong Fluid Technology. Today, I'm going to walk you through the mechanical systems that were recently renovated at the hospital in 2012. We start the tour here today in the chiller room. Installed in the chiller plant are two 2,000-ton McQuaid chillers. The first chiller immediately behind me was installed in about 2007 and utilizes constant speed compressors. The chiller behind it was installed in 2012 along with the renovation, and it utilizes fully variable speed compressors. The Armstrong IPC controller controls the flow rates of the condenser and cooling water that go to the chillers for most optimal efficiency possible. Now we're going to go outside to the cooling tower area and show you the cooling towers outside. Here we are outside the cooling tower area at the hospital, where behind me we have the 4 new cooling tower cells that were installed in 2012. Each tower is sized for 1,000 tons each and was supplied with a variable frequency drive on the tower fan. Additionally, they were selected for variable water flow so that the Armstrong IPC controller can maximize the part load efficiency of the towers. The previous towers were old wooden fill towers that were in dire need of replacement, so that now, after the installation, the hospital can take advantage of the efficiency gains from the IPC control system. Moving around to the other side of the cooling towers, we have the condenser pump station, designed and supplied by Armstrong Fluid Technology. The pump station consists of 5 design envelope Armstrong pumps, each 100 horsepower, so that there's 1 extra redundant pump for the cooling towers, as well as we provided the suction guide, Flowtrex valves, and a common return header for the package. All of the electrical goes to a single point power connection, and all of the pumps receive their staging and speed signals from the Armstrong IPC controller. We're here in the chilled water plant, where behind me we have 3 Armstrong design envelope pumps, each at 250 horsepower. 3 pumps so that they have 1 redundant pump and they can pump throughout the entire hospital. The original installation consisted of base-mounted pumps in a primary-secondary configuration, and going to the variable primary plant has allowed us to free up a significant amount of floor space that the owner can now use for their own purposes. Here we are at the chiller plant optimization system where the Armstrong controls have been installed. It's our model IPC 11550, and it controls the entire plant. It replaced a previous control system that was mainly used for data logging. The previous system was a constant chilled water primary, variable secondary, that was replaced with an all variable primary chilled water plant. On the condenser water side, it was originally constant flow, which was modified to be an all variable condenser water plant. From the touchscreen display here, the operator can walk up and access anything that they may need to control the plant. Additionally, with the internet connection that's installed, he can access the same information from his desk or anywhere in the world with his internet connection. Now, we're going to walk over to the operator and talk to him about the system that we've installed here. We're here today with James Freeland from the Methodist Hospital. With your original system, what were some of the challenges that you were experiencing with it?
Well, a lot of our problems came from having to reset equipment, knowing what equipment had to be online, what those parameters were supposed to be running at. This system fixed that for us.
Okay, were you having a lot of operator hours going and doing it? Was it a manual or automatic operation? Like, how automatic was the operation? Or
it was automatic to the extent of just commanding it on, but you had to know which piece of equipment had to be on.
Okay.
We had a lot of guesswork when people weren't around. Night shift, weekends, that kind of thing. A lot of phone calls were made. A lot of people woke up. A lot of man hours spent here trying to figure out tuning it, making sure everything was running right. There were 2 or 3 of us that worked here in the plant, and we pretty much knew where everything had to run. We weren't here all the time, so we got woke up at night, and we had to spread around here during the day during those problems.
So then originally the project started with a cooling tower replacement because you had an old cooling tower with wood fill, and the project went from just a cooling tower replacement to a chiller and piping reconfiguration and everything else. What was your decision-making process to get there?
I guess the energy savings was one of them. Let's go ahead and go for it all if we're going to do this. Maybe get a better payback from it. The other chiller we had wasn't quite reaching where it needed to be. We was at the limits of a 650 ton down there, so we needed more chiller anyway, so that's when it became a package deal with the energy savings.
Okay. So during the large transition from the old cooling system to new cooling system, were there any, I guess, construction not issues or challenges that you had where you were worried that, oh gee, we may not have cooling for the hospital, or was there?
Yes, there was. You know, we had to bring in temporary cooling tower. There's issues with that. The dynamics of getting it all together, bringing it online, and you're at the mercy of the weather to do this. We had 24-hour shutdowns, so we had to make sure we had timed it just right with Mother Nature.
Oh, and the contractors, the general contractors, and Tim Rushner's performance on that was, did everything get handled? Or
everything did get handled. We're very happy with what came out of this.
So now that the system has been installed, it's been running for about a year now, are there things about it that you really like or that you may not have foreseen that you've been able to have it for a year?
What we really like about it, the system runs itself. It knows what needs to be online, when it needs to be online, how much pressure it needs. So it'll alarm us whenever something goes down, tells us which piece of equipment needs to be online, lets us know when there's a problem with that.
Okay. And did it help address some of those issues that you had, those late night callbacks, and have those either gone away, or have you been able to address them differently?
We have been able to address them differently. Now we can see the entire system from the house, and it might just be as simple as leading the tech in a direction, telling him what to reset, and he goes from there.
So that you have used it from home?
Yes.
Used it? Okay.
Yes, we do.
So then has that eliminated any nighttime, at least, well, you still get some calls, but...
yeah, the downtime for the plant has significantly decreased.
Okay.
I mean, the plant will try and start itself. Sometimes their equipment does have to be manually reset for safety reasons, but other than that, it's a better process.
Has your staff time been reduced in spending on the chilled water plant, and what, if it has been reduced, what have they been doing instead of that? What other kind of things has it freed them up to do?
Well, we're able to spend more time preventive maintenance, doing more things around the hospital.
And would you recommend this to other hospitals and other owners? And what would be your overall recommendation for it?
Well, I definitely would. We don't regret anything about it. It's made our life easier. We love it.
When it came to energy efficiency savings, have you been able to realize those savings? Have you seen the dollar savings and energy savings that you were expecting from the installation?
Yes, we've been tracking that, and we see a considerable amount of money saved every month, clearly from the day we put it in. And it's been fine-tuned ever since then. It just keeps getting a little bit better and better.
Great. Well, James, thank you very much for spending your time with us and allowing us to do this walkthrough and videoing of the equipment. Armstrong significantly appreciates all of your understanding and your openness with allowing us to come through here and to video your space and to use your time. So once again, thank you very much for having us. It was
My
a pleasure
pleasure
meeting you. Thank you for coming here today, Tim.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
You were the general contractor on this project who did all the installation work and with all the modifications. The project originally started out as a cooling tower tender to change out the existing old cooling tower, and then it kind of grew into a project of replacing a chiller, doing all these pump modifications, adding the control systems. So, what value did the hospital see in expanding the project from a cooling tower change out, something rather simple, to a more holistic plant renovation?
Well, upon reviewing the whole plant, not just looking at the cooling tower, it became clear that the chiller plant was producing 42-degree water, but the best they could get out to the load was 46, 47 degrees. So during that conversation, I decided that I would look at the piping. And we saw that the piping for the secondary primary loop didn't have enough pipe diameters away from the return to the building. So there was a mixing problem. Well, we evaluated that, and one thing led to something else, and so we went from a cooling tower to looking at chill water pumps.
Okay.
And subsequently, we determined that they had an old, inefficient single-pass chiller. Wouldn't it be good to evaluate upgrading the chiller? And then, energy efficiency became a very dear topic to the customer. And since we knew about the Armstrong product, well, we said, wouldn't it be cool just to have all of this stuff tied together for maximization and optimization?
So, and part of the installation that we walked through is that we've seen that there's as an example, there's a condenser package out there that it's been installed, that you installed. And also we have packaged plant controls. So what advantages did you find with the packaged systems and installing it?
Well, certainly one of them was that it reduced our risk because we knew exactly what the cost of that package was. Our Armstrong gave us a quote for it, so we knew that that was exactly what that cost would be. Additionally, we knew that it would give us a very balanced system, that it would all come in on a skid. There would be, no proportionate piping. There'd be no real issues that we had to deal with in the field. We had a very tight space limitation, so having something that could be factory built and we just let it down over the parapet with a crane was much easier than having a crane here to lower down all kinds of things and to have man lifts and other devices to move the heavy components.
Did they have a very tight schedule that they put you under for this renovations? Because I guess it went from going from a cooling tower to a larger project. How did you, did their time, did they give you leeway on the timetable, or did they just say you have the same amount of time?
Well, we had the timetable was really somewhat flexible, but bear in mind that we had to provide a temporary tower, and a temporary 3,000-ton tower with the associated temporary pumps and the temporary electrical had a great cost to it. And so from a contractor standpoint of managing our costs and controlling our project, it was much easier for us to squeeze our timeline together using the Armstrong package product and thereby eliminating some of our costs with the temporary equipment. It really lends itself to a neat, quick install when the equipment gets here. And since we're timelining from the time we place the order, then it makes it easy to coordinate.
Were there any other unexpected benefits or things that came up out of the installation that you found? So that solving the chilled water was the issue, the efficiency. Was there anything else that you hadn't foreseen that came up as a benefit?
Well, one of the things that we hoped for that did turn out was that we're now able to deliver set point of the chiller plant to the building. And so that we had hoped that would reduce the number of hot calls. And so they went from having maintenance staff chasing the heat all over the building, adjusting thermostats and responding to all kinds of complaints from patients to doctors to nurses, where now it's as simple that we're delivering set point over, so maintenance staff can now focus on actually doing maintenance work instead of just chasing heat.
Oh, great.
And so that's been a benefit that the hospital has been able to tell us about that we had hoped would be part of the benefit as a soft cost.
And then on the energy efficiency plant optimization side of it, for the dollars and energy savings, was it what was expected, like predicted, and what you thought that the energy savings that they'd be able to get out of the system, or?
I'm going to say that it is it's close. We have certainly made the customer happy. They are pleased and delighted with the savings that we have been able to give them, and we've actually now had a year's operation, and so for 12 months that saving is $316,000 and some change.
Excellent.
So it's a job that was well done, and it gives us a lot of confidence that we can move forward with this Armstrong package of control systems and pumps, and the staff that Armstrong has put together, that we can confidently quote similar projects to other hospitals, other large institutions.
This brings us to the conclusion of the tour here at the Methodist Dallas Hospital. You may be wondering why I haven't taken you through the touchscreen display and all through the screens and the controls. Well, right now I'm going to hand it over to our local coordinator, who's going to dial in remotely and take you through all the screens. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank the hospital for hosting us here today and allowing us to walk through all of their systems and answer a few questions, and as well as Tim Rusher from Rushco for taking his time out to sit down with us and answer additional questions to give you background. Once again, thank you for taking the time out, and now I hand it over to your local coordinator.